next topic is differential relay. Next topic is differential relay. So differential relay, here between the two CTs in this diagram, the protected element is connected here. The element which we are protected is connected between the two CTs. Okay. So the first point in differential relay is a differential relay operates if the difference between two phasor quantities, if the difference in two phasor quantities exceeds a minimum pickup value, Okay. So in differential relay, the difference of two phasor quantities, either it can be voltage or current, if the difference exceeds certain pickup value, then only differential relay will operate. Okay. It compares both magnitude and phase angle. Very important point. Many people think only magnitude comparison will be done. No, it compares both magnitude and phase angle. So it compares the magnitude and phase angle of the same electrical quantities. Okay. So if it is a current differential relay, the comparison between two currents is being made. And if it is a voltage differential relay, then the comparison of the two voltages is being made. Okay. So the differential protection relay is used for protection of what? Especially current differential relay is used for protection of generators, transformers, feeders, motors, and bus bars. In this, feeders are protected by voltage differential relay. Okay, feeders are protected from voltage differential relay. The name for that is translay relay. Feeders are protected by voltage differential relay. The other name for that is translay relay. Current differential relay is used for protection of generators, transformers, large motors, and bus bars. Feeders are being protected by the voltage differential relay. Understand? And one more point is, this differential relay is a unit protection relay. It will only sense the faults that occur between these two CTs. Here two CTs are being shown in the figure. So if the fault occurs within this zone, then only they will sense the fault. If the fault occurs outside those CTs, either on this side or on this side, they will not sense the fault. That is, they strictly, their zone of protection is the element that is present between the two CTs. Okay. So the differential relay is a unit protection relay. Understand? So what are the three important points which you have to remember? In a differential scheme, the comparison is made between two current phasor quantities or two voltage phasor quantities. Okay. So it compares both magnitude and phase angle and makes the decision. If the difference between the two phasors exceeds a pickup value which we set, then the relay will trip. If the difference is less than or equal to that pickup value, then relay will not trip. Okay. So it is a unit protection relay. That is the second important point. And current differential scheme is used for protection of few elements, and voltage differential scheme is mainly used for protection of feeders. Now, suppose, let us assume, let us come back to the same thing. Suppose here the CT ratio is 100/1 ampere CT. Here also the CT ratio should be same, 100/1 ampere CT. Initially, let the current flowing here is, say, 300 ampere. And there is no fault in the element for which we are protecting. So same 300 ampere will flow out. Let us call this current as capital I1, this current as capital I2. So when there is no fault, capital I1 and capital I2 both are, let us say, 300 ampere. Now, how the secondary currents will flow? How the secondary currents will flow? Again, it is based on, even in CT, the currents are based on dot convention only. Okay. If the current enters at the dotted terminal in a CT, then in the secondary side, the current leaves on the dotted side. Current leaves on the dotted side. So here, the current entering in the primary, how many turns are there? Primary is a flat bar where you have only one turn. So in primary, the current is entering at the dotted terminal, and in secondary, the current will leave at the dotted terminal. It is according to the dot convention rule. Okay. So we are assuming the dots like this in this case. Okay. Now 300 ampere flowing through the primary. What will be the current flowing through the secondary? How much current will flow? 3 ampere in this direction. How much is this one? 3 ampere. Okay. Let us call this current as small I1. Small I1. Small I1. Okay. Now, here also how much, let the current here is, let us call this current as small I2. Okay. Now, the current flowing through the relay operating coil is I1 minus I2. If you can recollect, it is I1 minus I2 because I1 current is flowing, likewise I2 current is flowing. If you apply the KCL, what will be the current flowing through this branch? I1 minus I2 will be the current flowing through the relay operating coil. Okay. So when there is no fault, the small I1 here it is 3 ampere, even the small I2 is also 3 ampere. So the relay current that is flowing through the relay operating coil I1 minus I2 will become 0. I1 minus I2 will become 0. So relay will not operate. Relay will not operate. Gentlemen, again I am telling you, here I have called this current that is flowing in the primary as what? I am calling this current that is flowing in through the primary of the first CT as capital I1. Capital I1. Okay. The current flowing through the secondary, I am calling it as small I1. Similarly, the current flowing through the second CT in the primary, it is capital I2. In the secondary, I am calling it as a small I2. Okay. Now, the current that is flowing, the current directions are indicated by the red arrows. Here, the current flowing through the operating coil is I1 minus I2. I1 minus I2 in the bottom direction. From, say, let us say point PQ. From point P to Q, the current flowing through the relay operating coil is I1 minus I2. Okay. If this difference of I1 minus I2 exceeds some pickup current, let us call that pickup current as IP, relay will operate. Relay will operate. Okay. If this I1 minus I2 is less than or equal to IP, relay will not operate. Relay will not operate. That is the operating philosophy of the simple current differential scheme. Simple current differential scheme. Okay. So let us simulate one kind of fault and see whether how the relay will operate. Here, yeah, let us assume the fault is occurring here. This fault is taking some 30 amperes. Here the primary current, let me call it as, here the current that is flowing is 280 ampere out of, and here the current flowing is 250 ampere. Current I1 is 280 ampere, I2 is this one. Now my pickup current is, say, 0.2 ampere. 0.2 ampere. CT ratio is 100 bar 1 ampere. 100 bar 1 ampere. Now tell me whether the relay will trip or not. That is my question. Whether relay will trip or not.
Yes, sir. There is a difference between currents, so relay will trip.
No, whether it is exceeding pickup value or not, that you have to check.
Okay.
So here, what is the small I1?
2.8 amps.
Small I1 is 2.8 ampere. What is small I2?
2.5.
2.5 ampere. The difference between I1 and I2 is how much?
0.3.
0.3 ampere. Okay. Whether this 0.3 ampere is greater than our pickup value?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So the relay will operate. The relay will operate. Understand? That is how you have to understand this logic. Okay. The two more important points which you have to remember is that the CT ratio on either side must be same when the current differential scheme is used for protection of generators, motors and bus bars. The CT ratios must be not only CT ratios, the CT should be exactly identical. Okay, the CT ratio must be same when the scheme is used for protection of generators, motors and bus bars. But however, the CT ratio will be different when the scheme is used for the transformer protection. Obviously, the voltage and current values on primary and secondary will be different. So definitely the CT ratios should be different when the same scheme is used for the protection of transformers. Okay. So whatever so far we have discussed, it is a ordinary current differential scheme. Current differential relay or current scheme. Ordinary current differential relay. There are certain disadvantages in this ordinary differential relay. What are those? We'll see in the next article. Read this question and tell me the answer. Let us see how the currents will flow. Okay. Here the current is entering at this point in the primary. The current is flowing like this. How much current is flowing here? 250 ampere is flowing in this direction. So in the secondary, the current will leave the dotted terminal. So secondary, the current will be like this. So how much would be this current? This current would be 250 divided by 80 will be this current. 250 divided by 80 is how much?
31.25, sir.
How can it be 31.8?
Sir.
25 divided by 8. It is 3.8 3 is 24. 3.1.
3.1.
3.1. This current is 3.12 ampere. Okay. Similarly, here the current 220 ampere current is flowing here. So what will be the current in this direction? It will be in this direction, whose value will be 220 divided by 80. So this value will be 22.75. Okay. So now the current here is 2.75 and the current here is 3.12. How much current will flow through the relay in this direction? The current that flows is the difference between these two. That is 0.37 ampere. 0.37 ampere. Understand? So since this is the current flowing through the relay operating coil, that is 0.37 ampere. Understand? That is the answer. Okay. So we have understood the ordinary differential relay. Now, what are the disadvantages of ordinary current differential relay? The most important thing is it is very difficult to match the resistance of pilot wires. It is very difficult to match the resistance of pilot wires. Sir, what are pilot wires? The wires that are shown in the diagram we have marked, those are the pilot wires. Okay. Suppose this is point A. This is point B. This is point E. So the resistance of ABC should exactly match with resistance of must exactly match with the resistance of BDC. What I mean to say that the resistance of this path where this current will flow, the resistance of this path and the resistance of this path must be exactly same, so that there is no nuisance tripping. If the resistance of these two paths are different, then what will happen? Even though there is no fault, the currents will become unbalanced and the relay operating coil will carry some non-zero current. If that exceeds pickup value, it will cause nuisance tripping. What is nuisance tripping? The tripping that is caused without any fault, that is called nuisance tripping. Okay, so matching the resistance of these pilot wires that I have drawn in green and pink is very difficult. So in most of the cases, what they will do, they will connect stabilizing resistors to exactly match the resistance of pilot wires. They will connect the stabilizing resistance. That means if one side resistance is more and other side is resistance is less, on the less resistance side, they'll intentionally add some resistance to make the resistance equal. That is one disadvantage. The second thing is, let us call this CT as CT1, CT2. Both CT, we know that the CT ratio should be same, well and good. But also their saturation characteristics must also be same. The currents at which both CTs will saturate must also be same, which is very, very, very difficult to achieve. Okay, the same company, same material, same location, same person has made two CTs. Okay, let us assume the same company, same person, same location, both have made the same CTs with same ratings. Even then, there will be some mismatch in the magnetic curves of both CTs. Okay, it is impossible to make exactly identical CTs with same magnetic curve characteristics. So when the CT saturation is different, then also it will cause nuisance tripping. So for this, I'll give an example just to make you understand. Suppose here there is a fault, that is outside of this zone. Outside this zone, there is a short circuit, very huge short circuit fault. Let us say that the fault is 4000 ampere fault, where our CT ratios are 400 bar 5 ampere CT, and this is also 400 bar 5 ampere CT. Okay, the fault is outside our zone. Ideally speaking, the relay should not trip. So primary is carrying how much current? My I1 current is how much? I1 current is also 4000. I2 current is also 4000 in this case. Okay. Suppose if my CT1 is not saturating, because what is the rated current? It is 400. It is 10 times this rated current which is flowing. This CT is not saturating. It is properly converting this. So for 400, 5 ampere will flow. For 4000, how much current will flow? 50 ampere will current flow in this direction. 50 ampere current will flow in this direction. Suppose this CT, secondary CT, saturated at say 3900 ampere, because the core saturation occurred at 3900 ampere. So even though practically 4000 ampere is flowing in the primary of the CT, but since the core has saturated, it will only step down that to how much value? 3900 divided by 80. What would be this value? Can someone tell me? This will become 3900 divided by 80.
48.75, sir.
48.75 ampere. This current will be 48.75 ampere. So the net current that flow through the relay operating coil is 1.25 ampere. 1.25 ampere. Okay, if this value is greater than pickup value, then my relay will trip. Understand? So even though my fault is outside my zone, here this tripping is caused because of the different CT core saturations, which is also in most of the cases this will also happen. This kind of tripping will happen when the fault is very, very severe, high magnitude current flows. That is the second disadvantage. The CT core saturation happens at different currents, then it will cause fault stripping. The third thing is a CT ratio error and CT phase angle error causes nuisance tripping. CT ratio error and CT phase angle error also causes the nuisance tripping. Okay. So what is CT ratio error and what is CT phase angle error? That we will see. If you recollect your transformer equivalent connection, so let us put in red. So just 1 minute. Voltage is V1. The current that flows here is I1. This I1 is the sum of I0 and I1 dash. Similarly, this voltage is E1. Okay, let the turns is N1 and N2. This voltage is E2. Okay, this value is R0. This value is X0. This is R1, X1, R2, X2. R2, X2 are the secondary leakage resistance and reactance, and R1, X1 are the primary leakage resistance and reactance of the transformer. Let this one is RL and XL. Now the current that is flowing through the secondary is how much? I2. Okay. Now, what is the turns ratio? Let the N2 divided by N1, let us call this as N. Let us call this as a nominal turns ratio is N, small n, N2 divided by N1. Now, 2 divided by N1, that is equals to small n. And similarly, what we will take this one as I1 divided by I2. So, what is I1 divided by I2? I1 divided by I2 is equals to, what is the I1 value? I1 is the sum of magnetizing current plus load component of primary current divided by I2. This is equals to I0 divided by I2 plus I1 dash divided by I2, which is equals to I0 divided by I2 plus I1 dash divided by I2 is the exact current ratio. This value will become N. This value will become nominal turns ratio. So for all practical purpose, what we are treating that exact ratio of I1 by I2 as the nominal ratio, but however, there is a small component that is causing the error. So the exact current ratio, let us call this as capital R, exact current ratio, that is I1 divided by I2 is some small component, that is I1 divided by I2 plus nominal ratio value, which we have defined it here. So this component is causing the ratio error. This component is responsible for ratio error of CT. Why? Because the magnetizing current we are neglecting and we are treating otherwise. So even this small error, that is I0 divided by I2, will contribute for the ratio error. Now, what is phase angle error? Initially, IW, and this will be your I mu, and both, if you add phasor, you are going to get, this is your I0 current, no load current of the transformer, or magnetizing current I naught. Okay. Similarly, your E2 phasor will be like this. This is your E2, or we can write this as ideally as V1 and V2. This is the I2 current. I2 lags V2 by some angle, and this is I1 dash. This is your I1 dash. Okay. So what is I1? I1 is the phasor sum of I0 and I1 dash. So your I1 will be like this. Your I1 will be like this. Ideally speaking, when there is no I0 component, the angle between I2 and I1 dash is 180 degrees. Angle between I2 and I1 dash is 180 degrees. Because of this I0 component, the I0 component, angle between the secondary current, that is I2, and primary current, that is I1, is less than 180 degrees. Is less than 180 degrees. Okay. So this small reduction in angle, since this angle, the small reduction in angle is causing CT phase angle error. CT phase angle error. Understand? So this CT ratio error and CT phase angle error are because of the no load component of current. No load component of transformer current, that is I0. So because of this I0, the angle between the primary and secondary currents is less than 180 degrees, and the ratio is slightly, the exact ratio R is slightly greater than the nominal ratio. So these two are called ratio error and phase angle error. Because of this also, the ordinary differential relay will cause unnecessary or nuisance tripping. So these are the three main reasons why your ordinary differential relay will fail. Right? One is the mismatching of the pilot wire resistance, and second is the different CT core saturation. The third one is CT ratio error and CT phase angle error. CT phase angle error. Okay. Problem that happens in the differential relay when it is implemented in the transformer. Okay. In the transformer, let me draw the diagram. So this is the ordinary differential scheme. I'm only drawing for one phase. Okay. Now, suppose the transformer is under no load condition or some breakdown happened, which we have repaired, and now we are charging. We are charging the transformer for the first time. So once you charge the transformer, that means how you charge the transformer, you will close the breaker on the high voltage side. You will close the breaker on the high voltage side, that is source side. Source side breaker you will close, but load side breaker it will be in the open condition. Now, the current that initially flows through the transformer to create the magnetic field in the core, that is called magnetic inrush current. That is called magnetic inrush current. Okay. Once you charge the transformer for the first time or after a repair, after not using for a very long time, initially the transformer will take magnetic inrush currents to create the magnetic field in the core. Okay. These magnetic inrush currents will flow through the primary, through this high voltage side. And what is the current in the low voltage side? If you can recollect this one, here the current is how much? Here the current is how much? Magnetic inrush current. What is the current here? 0. Because nothing is connected on the load side. These magnitude of magnetic inrush currents is 5 to 8 times full load currents. 5 to 8 times full load current, and they flow for 6 to 8 cycles. 6 to 8 cycles. So primary side some current is flowing which is 6 to 8 times full load current. Secondary side the current is 0. So definitely my relay operating coil ROC will contain some difference in current which is very high. So it will cause tripping. It will cause tripping. Understand? So this magnetic inrush currents will cause the tripping of the differential relay, which is not necessary, which should not happen actually. So in order to avoid this nuisance tripping that is caused by magnetic inrush currents, you can do two things. You can do two things. Since this magnetic inrush currents only flow for 6 to 8 cycles, one cycle is equals to how much? 20 millisecond. See, 1 second means 50 hertz. 50 hertz means 50 cycle. So 1 second divided by 50 is 1 cycle, that is 20 millisecond. So 6 to 8 cycles means approximately it will come around 160 millisecond. 160 millisecond. So whatever in the relay, you can keep a time delay of 200 millisecond or 0.2 or 0.3 seconds. So whenever this difference in current flows through the relay operating coil, for 0.3 second, it will not do any tripping. For 0.3 second, it will not do any tripping. After that, what will happen? After that, what will happen? It will cause, if the difference in current flows beyond 0.3 second, it thinks that it is not inrush current, it is fault, some fault has occurred. So it will trip. Then it will trip. That is one case you can eliminate this one. But however, most of the industry experts do not use this technique. What they do is that, so they use a differential relay along with some restraint force. This is called harmonic restraint relay. Harmonic restraint relay. That means the same differential relay, they will have additional capabilities. So that relay is called harmonic restraint relay. So what this harmonic restraint relay, how it differentiates between the magnetic inrush currents and fault current is that, so the magnetic inrush currents contain contain 30 to 70% of second harmonic component. Okay, this magnetic inrush mainly contains what? They contain fundamental component. DC offset component, and second harmonic component, third harmonic, which is less, which is around 20%, and higher harmonics which are less than 5%. Higher harmonics, that is fourth harmonic, fifth harmonic, like that. But the second harmonic is highest, which is around 70%. Okay, so what this harmonic restraint will do? It keeps a filter. It keeps a filter, and it provides a restraining force from the second harmonic, third harmonic, and other harmonics. So the restraining ampere turns are being fed by this second harmonic and other higher components. So these other harmonics will create a restraining force that will avoid the tripping of the differential relay. So you only remember one simple objective point. To avoid tripping due to magnetic inrush currents, what we do? We use a harmonic restraint relay. Harmonic restraint relay operates on the second harmonic components to produce the restraining force. Restraining force means opposing force to operating force. Operating force try to trip, restraining force try to prevent tripping. So this second harmonic component is filtered and it is fed to the restraining coil so that the opposing force increases. The second important point is normal fault currents do not contain, or normal fault currents contain very less component of second harmonic, negligible component. So that is the trick that is helping us to differentiate between the inrush currents, magnetic inrush currents, and fault currents. Fault currents you remember there is no second harmonic component. In magnetic inrush currents, there is a high 70% of second harmonic component. So this second harmonic component, I am feeding it to the restraining coil to create the restraining force. Okay, since in normal fault currents there is no second harmonic component, the restraining force is not generated. So in this way, we can prevent the nuisance tripping due to magnetic inrush currents in the transformer when you are charging it after a long time. The other name for this one is Merge Price is the scientist who designed this concept. Merge Price circulating current method. Circulating current method. Okay. Percentage differential relay or merge price current circulating method. Here we provide additional restraining force. Here N0 is the operating coil, N0 is the number of turns in the operating coil. Here this pink color coil is the operating coil, which I am circling, where the number of turns in the operating coil is how many? N0. N0 is the operating turns. Here this brick color which I am circling is the restraining coil, which is dividing into two. The total restraining turns are NR. Let us use the notation NR. So half of the turns will be present here, the other half will be present here. So the total restraining turns are divided into two sections, NR and NR. Okay. Now let the primary current is capital I1, the secondary current is small I1, this current is capital I2, this current is small I2. Okay, so now the total current that flows through the operating coil is I1 minus I2. This restraining coil, half of the restraining coil will carry I1 current, other half of the restraining coil will carry I2 current. So here, what is the primary concept? We are providing additional restraining force by adding the restraining ampere turns. Okay. Now, operating magnetomotive force, MMF, operating MMF is equals to the current flowing through operating coil into number of turns, that is I1 minus I2 into N0. I1 minus into N0. Restraining magnetomotive force or MMF is equals to how much current is flowing through this one, that is I1 into, half of the restraining coil is carrying I1 current, so I1 into NR by 2 plus I2 into NR divided by 2. So this is equals to I1 plus I2 divided by 2 into NR. So many ampere turns. Okay. Relay operates when operating MMF is greater than restraining MMF, magnetomotive force. So at the threshold condition, what is the condition? Both this should be equal. Okay. The relay will operate when the operating magnetomotive force is greater than the restraining magnetomotive force. Okay. So at the threshold, when the both are equal, at threshold, what is the condition? I1 minus I2 divided by N0 is equals to I1 plus I2 divided by 2 into NR. These two should be equal. Now, if you take this one to this side, what you are going to get, which implies I1 minus I2 divided by I1 plus I2 divided by 2 is equals to NR divided by N0. This ratio is called slope or bias. This ratio is called slope or bias of differential relay. Differential relay. It is called slope or bias of differential relay, for which we give the symbol K. We give the symbol it as K. Okay. So K, slope is defined as the, what is I1 minus I2 by 2? It is operating current. The second one is the restraining current. So it is the ratio of operating current divided by restraining current. It is called slope or bias of differential relay. Slope or bias of differential relay, which is denoted by K. Which is denoted by K. Understand? So now, when relay will operate? When will relay will operate? So this relay operates. Let us use this current. So relay operates when operating current is equals to K into restraining current. K into restraining current. That is the balance condition when both are equal. But it will operate when this is greater than. If you have the spring or the pickup current, you should also add the pickup current IP. So bias is the ratio of operating current divided by restraining current flowing in the differential relay, and relay will operate when my operating current is greater than K multiplied by restraining current plus pickup current. Understand? That is the point. Relay will not operate if my operating current, that is I1 minus I2, or sometimes I1 difference I2, is less than or equal to bias into restraining current plus pickup current. So this is a condition where the differential relay, the percentage differential relay will operate or will not operate. Okay. The two important points are this K value, the bias value will be usually in the range of 0.05 to 0.2. It will be in the range of 0.05 to 0.2. So when the given percentages, you have to divide it with by 100 to get the bias. Suppose someone tells you 20% bias. 20% bias means, which implies K value is 0.2. 20% bias means K value equal to 0.2. 10% bias, which implies K value is equals to 0.1. Okay, that is the first point. If no pickup current is given, then you have to substitute IP is equals to 0 in the above condition. You have to substitute IP equal to 0 in the above condition. Okay, so this is about the percentage differential relay. Okay, in percentage differential relay, what we have seen, additional extra restraining force apart from the restraining force of the spring, that is IP. The spring is causing that minimum current, that is pickup current. So an extra restraining force by adding extra ampere turns is provided in addition to the restraining force of the spring. The percentage setting value is similar to the plug setting, current setting value in the plug setting bridge of overcurrent relay. So you can change this percentage bias also by using some slider or by using some knob. Okay, the practical range of percentage setting is from 5 to 20%. 5 to 20%. Okay. Next, the relay operating region for this relay is the operating region of percentage current differential relay. If you plot the characteristics, slope is K. So the relay will operate in this region. Relay will operate in this region depending upon the slope value. This is the operating region above this line. Sorry. Operating region is this one. And below or on the line, it will not operate. On and below the line, it will not operate. This is the non-operating region. The green is the operating region. Red one is touching the line. You can see it is non-operating region of the differential relay, where the slope of this is given by this K. Slope is given by K. So this is the about the percentage differential relay. Percentage differential relay. Understand? So the last point for today's class, when you use the differential relay scheme for transformers, one thing which you have, so percentage differential relay, when you apply the current differential scheme for the transformer, what you can observe from primary to secondary, if the connection is star to delta or delta to star, there will be 30 degrees phase shift in the voltage and currents on the primary and the secondary side. So since our differential scheme compares both voltage and both the magnitude and the phase angle, so the primary side phase angles and the secondary side phase angles, there is a difference of 30 degrees in the currents. So this phase angle difference will cause error in tripping. So will cause nuisance tripping. To avoid that, the CTs on either side of the transformer are connected in opposite sequence to nullify this phase angle error. That means in your power transformer, this is a power transformer connections, and this is the CT connections which we make to implement the CT connections for differential scheme. Okay. So suppose in our power transformer, the primary and secondary are connected in delta and star. Primary side is delta, secondary side is star. Then you have to connect the CTs. On delta side, you connect the CTs in star. On star side, you connect the CTs in delta. So since you are connected in opposite sequence, whatever phase shift that is introduced in primary currents, that will be nullified by the CT currents. Okay. Suppose if your power transformer connection is primary side star and secondary side delta, then your CT connection should be delta into star, delta and star. Suppose this is star, delta, delta. If it is delta, delta, then your CT connections, the CT connections which you are connecting to implement differential scheme should be in star and star. The first two are compulsory. This is mandatory. That means to nullify the 30 degrees phase shift effect in the currents, this opposite sequence connection is mandatory for these two. But in the remaining two cases, there is no problem because there is no phase shift between star to star. Either you can connect both in delta or both in star. It doesn't make any difference. But to just have a common nomenclature, usually they will do in this sequence. But to be very correct, here there is no phase shift in these two connections, so you need not do opposite phase sequence here. It is not compulsory for the two, but whereas for the first two cases it is compulsory to avoid the phase shift in the 30 degrees phase shift error in the currents. Okay. So gentlemen, let us stop at this point. Tomorrow I will tell one example for this one. So this is how the connection is being made, just for our understanding. You can see the power transformer here, it is delta connected, secondary side it is star connected. Okay, so the CTs that we are connecting to implement this differential scheme, so primary side CTs are star connected, so on the secondary side CTs are delta connected. Okay, so in this type you connect the sequence, then there is no phase angle error in the CTS. Okay, so again, like this, you have to connect the CTs in for the differential protection of the transformer, that is in the opposite sequence. If your power transfer connection is delta star, your CT connection is star. In a biased differential relay, biased means percentage differential relay, bias is defined as
Restraining coil turn by operating coils.
See what I have told you here. Slope or
Operating
bias
by
of a
restraining.
differential relay. Operating current divided by restraining current. Or this is also correct, NR by N0. But primary definition is operating current divided by restraining current. Both 1 and 2 are correct. But to be very precise, it is the ratio of operating current divided by restraining current. Here, even in the one more point which I want to stress is that even in the operating characteristics, it is a curve between operating current divided by restraining current. So the fundamental definition of bias would be operating current divided by the restraining current. Okay. Next, where we use negative sequence relay. Fault analysis, I have told you. Negative sequence relay is used for protection of rotor of alternator. Okay, when negative sequence currents will flow, a 100 hertz eddy currents are induced in rotor, which will permanently damage the rotor by overheating it. So in order to prevent that, we connect a negative sequence relay for protection of rotor of alternator. Alternator is the right option.